I'm writing, recording, and uploading this video less than a week after coming off of a 2.5 week tour with the Norwegian folk rock gods and goddess that is Kalanja. Now, if you don't know Kalanja, I highly recommend you go and check them out, especially live. They are an absolute treat for the eyes, ears, and soul. But this video is not about them, it's about me and the challenge that I had set myself of writing lyrics every day whilst away on tour with them. Now, my role on the tour was merchandise manager, or Freddie Mercury, if you please. And we will get into what that entailed in a moment. So the origin of this idea, this challenge of writing lyrics every day, came from a similar challenge I set myself a few weeks back of writing a song every day for a week. 7 songs in 7 days, which you can find a link for on screen and in the description. So go check that video out if you want. Now, I did a separate video of the things that I learned from doing that challenge. Again, the link to that is in the description. But one of the biggest and most impactful aspects of doing that was how good I felt in myself for having done it. The sense of accomplishment, the pride I had in myself for completing a creative challenge, one that required me to be consistent and not to wait for inspiration to find me, but for me to go and find inspiration. I felt a feeling of cleanliness. I don't know, it's difficult to put into words, but all of this to say that I felt good. So I wanted to continue this, to try and make it part of my everyday routine, especially when I was about to embark on something as an intense, sleep-deprived, energy-consuming thing as a tour. I thought to myself, now there's a challenge, if ever I did see one. So like I said, I was in charge of merchandise. The loading in the boxes, counting the stock, setting it up, displaying it, selling it, making notes of the sales, packing it up, and then loading it back out. Which might not seem like a lot of work, but by golly gosh, they had a lot of merchandise. There was 4 different shirts, all of multiple sizes, a long sleeve t-shirt, again, in multiple sizes, a hoodie, multiple sizes, a tote bag, patches, 2 albums on CDs, and 3 albums on vinyls. Now, for a boy who had to get extra tutoring in maths in school just to pass his school maths exams, this was a challenge for me, to say the least. So the usual state of play would be to load in at some point in the afternoon into the venue. I would set up the merch whilst the band would set up and sound check. In fact, I hadn't worked with merchandise on this scale before, so it would often take me up until the doors opening to get everything set up and in place. I'd have piles of different shirts in different sizes placed wherever I could behind me or at my feet to be able to find items quick during the rush pre and post show. So needless to say, there was no time for lyric writing during these moments. But during the show itself, that's when I mostly found time to scribble down some ideas, thoughts, or concepts. There was the occasional service station and hotel room session, but mostly it was done during the show. Now, I feel I should point out at this point what I had defined for myself as writing lyrics. This was my 3rd outing into the touring world as Freddie Mercury, so I knew that there was potentially going to be times when writing multiple full verses was going to be next to impossible. So I'd given myself permission to write anything. Anything, meaning full verses or just one word. But I had to write something every day. I allowed myself to be flexible, which I'm super glad I did, because at one point during the tour, the van broke down. There was lots and lots of no sleep, and when driving back from England to the Netherlands, I was looking out the window at the rolling English hills, and I realized I hadn't written anything for that day. Now, I get motion sickness, so writing in the van was never going to be an option. Plus, like I said, there was very, very little sleep to work on here. So for that day's entry, I just wrote heels. Just the word heels. Now, whenever I look in my notebook and I see that word, I'm immediately taken back to that moment with all of its sights, smells, feelings. So if and when I decide to use that prompt to write, I have a well of inspiration to pull from just that one word. So if you were to flip through my notebook, you might say, you didn't do much that day, Freddie. To which I reply, what are you doing looking through my notebook? Who are you? How did you get in? Someone please help me. Now, being on tour is a very peculiar sensation because it's every conceivable opposing feeling and emotion all bundled up together. It's exciting, it's boring, it's stimulating, it's mundane, every day is different, every day is the same. That rhymed. It's lonely, it's crowded, it's go, 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 it's hurry up and wait, it's problem solving, it's knowing exactly what to do, it's silent, it's loud, it's up, it's down. Did it again. It's dealing with wonderful people, it's dealing with less wonderful people. I could go on, but you get my point. You can get bashed around by the waves of tour life quite easily, and there were moments when I was being, or certainly on the verge of being battered by those waves. But fear not, because in comes the flotation device that is writing lyrics to help me from drowning. To keep with the nautical theme, writing lyrics every day was my lighthouse, the thing to keep me anchored and afloat during hard moments. It was my cigarette break. It was my stiff drink at the end of the day. It was a way of decompressing myself, a way for my thoughts and feelings to escape, or a way to channel them into a different form. I did journal on this tour, but this is different. It was play. It was creative. It was allowing myself moments of freedom, no constraints. I could freeform without worrying about being coherent. Now, that same feeling I had when writing and completing a song every day for a week was back, and I bloody loved it. The feeling of cleanliness was back, which was impressive because a shower every day is not always guaranteed. Again, I had proved to myself that I can set myself a creative challenge that requires me to go in search of inspiration, and I, again, have reconfirmed to myself that if inspiration doesn't turn up, I still will. The same thing with the previous writing challenge video, though, is that I don't know if any of the things I wrote down will actually materialize into a song that is performed, recorded, and released. But at this point, that's not my concern. My task for this was not to write something usable, it was just to write something, and I did. So yay me. If you are interested in the songs that I have performed, recorded and released, there is links in the description where to find said music, and I would greatly appreciate it if you went and checked them out. Now, my eternal love, thanks and gratitude to Kalanja, to Kalanja's crew and the Kalanja's management for having me out on this tour. It was incredibly inspiring to see them do their thing every night. Their level of professionalism mixed with the emotional effect that they had on people night after night was just something I aspire to achieve and that I will take with me on my own journey. You need Kalanja in your life. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and follow if you haven't already. And yeah, go check out my music. And remember, I love you.